King Charles III embarked on his first overseas state visit as monarch on Wednesday, jetting off to Berlin in the company of his wife Queen Consort Camilla. To mark the first night of his three-day trip to Germany, the king attended a state banquet at the Schloss Bellevue, a former royal residence which is now the home of the country's President Frank-Walter Steinmeier. To an audience of high-profile guests, including the President and former Chancellor Angela Merkel, the king delivered a speech pledging to strengthen the connections between the UK and Germany and paying tribute to the enduring value of the two nations' relationship, but it was a surprising reference that delighted his esteemed audience. Speaking in German, the king referenced the 1963 British comedy sketch, Dinner for One, which centres on the 90th birthday of upper-class English woman Miss Sophie, played by May Warden, as she is attended by her butler James. While the table is laid for 4 guests, it becomes clear all have long since passed away, prompting James, portrayed by comedian Freddie Frinton, to get increasingly intoxicated as he impersonates and drinks for them all. Alluding to the show, the king joked, "It is nice of you all not to have left me alone with a dinner for one." Though the idea for Dinner for One was first formed in the UK, it is virtually unheard of among Brits. In contrast, the sketch is hugely popular in Germany, and since 1972, it has been a staple of the country's New Year's Eve celebrations. Prince Harry voted second most popular royal to succeed King Charles. In shocking new poll, Prince Harry is the surprising second choice to be the next monarch in a new poll, despite his attacks on the royal family in his memoir Spare and Netflix TV series. In first place was the first in line to the throne, Prince William, who received the vast majority of the votes for who should succeed their father King Charles. Find out more here. The show, which is also known as the 90th birthday, Der 90. Geburtstag in German, was originally written by British author Lowery Wiley for the theatre, and Mr. Frinton and Miss Warden had been performing it in seaside resorts around the country as early as 1945. Then, in 1963, the actors were invited to perform it on screen in front of a live TV audience, having been scouted by German producer Peter Frankenfeld in Blackpool. In 1972, it aired on German TV at 7:40 p.m. on New Year's Eve to fill a gap in scheduling. And so an annual tradition was born. It has been a part of the evening's viewing since then. Those who are feeling more adventurous choose to drink alongside James as they watch the show, which has a short German introduction but is broadcast in English. In the sketch, James impersonates Sir Toby, Admiral von Schneider, Mr. Pomeroy and Mr. Winterbottom, friends of Ms. Sophia who have died. The butler consumes all of their beverages over a 4-course meal: mulligatawny and sherry, North Sea haddock and white wine, chicken with champagne and fruit and port, becoming increasingly drunk and repeatedly stumbling over a tiger head rug. Before each course, James asks the aristocrat if it will be the same procedure as last year, to which Miss Sophie responds, "The same procedure as every year, James." The lines are repeated when the butler accompanies her up to bed at the end of the show, alluding to a sexual relationship between the pair, reflected by Mr. Frinton and Miss Warden's alleged real-life affair. Don't miss. Poll: should King make more state visits to forge ties with the world? Poll: Archie could have first big prince moment during King's coronation. Latest: George, Charlotte and Louis tip to head monarchy as a collective. Exclusive, as well as becoming a New Year's Eve tradition, Dinner for One spawned several cookbooks and even a commemorative stamp. The show holds the Guinness World Record for the most repeated TV program of all time. Mr. Frinton, who died in 1968, was well known in the UK, having starred in the BBC programme, Meet the Wife. Ms. Warden died aged 87 in 1978. The show did not air in the UK until 2018, 55 years after it was first recorded and 46 after it became a German favourite. It was also shown in countries such as the Netherlands, Sweden, Norway, and Finland. In what was the first state banquet speech of his reign, King Charles stressed he was utterly convinced the bond between Britain and Germany will grow ever stronger. His speech came following his and Camilla's warm welcome in front of Berlin's Brandenburg Gate, a symbol of peace and unity. It marked the first time the location had been used to greet a foreign head of state. Charles told those gathered at the dinner, "The relationship between Germany and the United Kingdom matters greatly to me, too, Mr. President, and I am more convinced than ever of its enduring value to us all. It means so much to us that my wife and I could come to Germany for this very first overseas tour of my reign. I can only assure you, that throughout the time that is granted to me as king, I will do all I can to strengthen the connections between us."